Do you want to get in on anything to do with Na'Vi Striker, or should we move into Liquid?
We can move into Liquid.
All right. So we're not going to go harsh on Liquid here. They didn't play great. I think that's basically the gist of it. They had a pretty shit group, right? But a lot of good teams had pretty shit groups. So let's start with this point, and then we'll move from here. Nexa, honestly, well, you don't have to be honest. It's fine. When you're playing Blast groups, right, and you know it's to qualify for the finals, which are in a Counter-Strike player's mind, may as well be in 10 years from now, right? Like there's going to be so many more events between when you've qualified in this group, if you did, to when you would play. Does it feel like when you're going into an event like that, it's harder to, like, you can't see the carrot, right? Like the incentive to win isn't there in the same way as when you're going into an event where everything's back to back to back to back, and you know that at the end of that tournament, you lift the trophy or you don't. Does it make it harder to motivate yourself?
It definitely makes it harder, and also it's like just the fact that even if you lose, you're not really eliminated. You're just playing another tournament, like you're going to Showdown, and it's just another tournament in a long list of tournaments throughout the year. So, there's really no like pressure playing this, or like even if you win the whole group, like we did twice, we won the previous two groups, and like and then we lost in the first game of the finals anyway, you know, like, so it doesn't really mean anything. And I get
what you're trying to say, because this is the thing, like if we're going to look at this from a competitive standpoint as well, like we're not going to mince any words here, like fuck it. That last game that they play, the Na'Vi versus FaZe last night, in my opinion, that's a waste of everybody's time, because like Na'Vi are going in, they've already, it feels like it's a waste of game. It's the dead rubber, right? That's the terminology we use for it. And
it's for prize money.
Yeah. So have they changed it, right? They made it more steep, like first gets more, and like I think there was a bigger drop off. I'm not sure if they did. I remember.
It is like a double now, but it's not like it really matters when it's like 25,000 or 12,500. You know,
it needs to be like all of it, right? It needs to be like almost it for that to work. First place needs to be like, I'm going to throw out a ridiculous thing and someone's going to go, that's so stupid, but that's fine. I reckon something like 75% of the prize money should go to first, because then that way you're fucking incentivized, right? Like, you know, if Nexa knows he can go buy, you know, himself a jet ski if they win this event, then yeah, he's going to fucking try a bit harder than if he knows he can go and get himself a pair of new fucking Gucci shoes or whatever the kids are wearing these days, right? So like, I think that those things right there is one way they can tweak that. Anyway, we're meant to be talking about Liquid. How the fuck did I get here?
The question was, what would Nexa buy with like 5k euros?
Yeah.
And like you had to spend it like instantly on something stupid. What would it be?
Something stupid? I don't know. Like, I think first thing I would buy is like a brand new PC. Like, I feel like I have to keep buying PCs every 6 months in order for CS to like run properly.
Yeah, 200 FPS locked.
Oh shit. Okay. Well, that's we all know that feeling. Fuck. Let me try and narrow this into Liquid. Let me try, because I fucked up completely here. I've taken us off the rails. I don't even know where we are right now.
I think the point is that you and Striker said that they're going to be amazing now at Fallen, and I was an idiot.
I jumped ship immediately, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. So, but see, I cushioned it there, Prof. I asked Nexa. I said, Nexa, does it even really matter? He's like, no, it doesn't matter. So look, it doesn't matter to Astralis, Liquid, or Vitality, right? Anyway,
or G2 as well.
To be fair, it was worrying, the type of Counter-Strike I saw out of Liquid. They looked like they were tripping over their own feet in a lot of circumstances. It didn't feel like we were getting that same super high level performance out of them that we got before. And this is why, like I said, I don't want to dwell too much on the Liquid conversation. Does anybody have any points they want to chime in with Liquid before I just move straight to honeymoon stuff? Anything about their play? Anything that you saw? Anything you know?
I think what I posted in Discord today, the difference in rating between Fallen and Twists was like 0.30, and that's just interesting to point out, because we were talking about it earlier, like a couple of shows ago, when the whole like change happened, and my point was that you're giving away a pretty good player in Twists, and if you want to replace him with someone, has to be a good player. I mean, I'm not saying Fallen's a bad player, but like you're giving away like a superstar potential for someone that's like in these late years of his career. So that can be worrying.
Do you feel though that the difference with the last tournament and this one for Liquid was that Naf had a worse performance overall, right? Like the last time we saw him, he was lights out. This time around, not that he was bad, it's just that he wasn't lights out. Elige was still the highest rated player. I think I'm looking at the stats that you pasted here with 1.17, but then NAF was down there at 0.93, right? So the whole team, obviously with the losses, are going to be impacted a bit more. I guess what you're pointing out is really, it's just the numbers, because if we dive into the nitty and gritty of it, we heard from Twist that the atmosphere in the team was bad. It wouldn't have worked, right? They wouldn't have been there enjoying it. And this is kind of where I want to go. Fuck it. We're going to the honeymoon chat. This is where we start. Next up, when Nico joined your team last year and you boys came out and you fisted Astralis, was it because everybody was on their best behavior? Like, it's like, okay, we're together. This is the team. Let's fucking do it. Like, the morale's at the all-time high. Like, is that like the peak?
Yeah, definitely. It was like, I think it was just like a breath of fresh air. Like, we were really in the shit, pardon my language. Like, we lost, I think, like maybe 10, 15 games in a row. Like, literally, we could not do anything. And then finally, we bring in Nico. We play a few practices. Like, things are looking bright again. Everyone is happy to play, like, excited. Like, we want to play officials. We want to show what we got. Like, we just want to, like, get this feeling of winning again. We just want to win, and we just go in. Everyone is super excited, motivated. Everyone is listening to each other. Like, communication is great. Everyone is staying positive even when we're losing, which definitely comes from like this breath of fresh air, like the addition of a new player.
So this is where I want to kind of copy and paste that, and I want to look at some teams in recent times. Liquid was one, right? FaZe at this event, for everybody who aren't familiar with the situation, they have known for some time that Karrigan's joining. They have known what the changes are going to be. Twist has just come in. They're playing with no pressure. Everybody who sat there and going, Olaf, please don't retire. Like, this is so sick. Like, look at his stats. I need you to think for a little bit what the team is like when they're under the regular pressure. When a team is under the regular pressure, FaZe, we've had Yanko on the show saying if you're in FaZe, you're meant to be one of the best teams in the world. That's where the pressure's at, right? Regular pressure for these guys is you win or you're fucking shit. Your DMs are going to be filled with all the hate and all this shit, and you're not going to be getting the praise and everything that you'd be getting normally, right? That's the stakes that we're playing with here. When the stakes are, hey, this is your last game with the team, we're just fucking around, we don't even have an in-game leader, what do you think it's going to be like? There's no pressure. You're not going to be scared when you take a pick. You're not going to be scared in a clutch situation. You're not going to be sitting there shitting yourself. Like, you get the balls to do a fucking full 10-second defuse, right? Like, the type of confidence that you get, and it's dumb confidence, right? Because the consequences don't matter. Imagine as a kid, you could go around the house and draw all over all the fucking walls, and dad wasn't going to come up with the belt and fucking smack you. You would as a little kid.
Kids can do now.
Yes. Well, exactly.
That isn't going to happen anymore.
That's modern parenting. For hopefully most of you out there, you still copped a little bit so that you're in order, right? That's a joke, everybody. Oh, fuck. The parents are going to be on me now. Jesus, don't hit your kids. Explicitly do not hit your kids.
To be fair, though, like, the pressure, at least in terms of Olafmeister, like, I don't think it's changed in, like, any significant matter just because he's always been there, just like a temporary guy. He's never been expecting to be on the team again full time. So I feel like
for the last 6 months,
I mean, whatever it is now that he's been back for 4 or 5 months or whatever. So I'm not sure if this is like necessarily applicable for him. Could just be like, had a couple of really good games, really good days against when they played against Liquid, and that's pretty much it. So it's like, I wouldn't expect this to be consistent Olaf right? Anyway. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Just because I think it's because he has like Nico's roles, if I'm not mistaken, meaning like the rotation roles. He's no longer being this guy stuck with like the roles on like playing the B-bomb site and like having to be isolated from the team and whatever. I think he's like more in like the center of the map. He has this ability to make plays again. Of course, when there is no pressure, you're always gonna go for the duels. You're always gonna take your timings. You're always gonna take your peak, no matter. Because you don't have to worry if like the guy behind you is gonna be tilted because you died, or the guy's gonna be mad at you because you didn't listen. Like there's always this. So if you always go for the fights, like honestly, everyone at this level has insane aim. Like it's just about like taking the duels and just like feeling confident and free to just do your things on the server.
Yeah, I think there was an interesting the interview that Coldzera did with HLTV. It was interesting to read like his opinion on Olaf and kind of compare that to like Yanko's and Nico's opinion of Olaf. Like Yanko and Nico are like, this is the super great player that plays all the worst roles, and because like he plays them well, it's hard to replace him with someone that's going to do it like to that level, to do what Nexa said, not do the stupid peak, stay alive, have all of these like responsibilities. And then Coldzera, how he described it, it was more like maybe if Olaf played more of his roles where he had more freedom, he'd enjoy the game more and then play better. So it's kind of a different perspective on what Olaf can provide to a team, right? So I just found that interesting to see, like, maybe Olaf in a different universe, if he played in different, maybe he left FaZe, or FaZe had different players or whatever, he played different roles, who knows where he would be right now, right?
I mean, every team has one player like this. Like, there's no one in the world that enjoys playing B bomb site on Mirage and playing retake 15 times in a half and just doing nothing the whole game. You know, like, there are players who are doing a great job there and who can get the kills, like the multi kills, and do what's necessary. But I am sure they would like enjoy playing the game where the action is, you know, and using their skill set and actually like I think you all understand what I'm trying to say. Like that, like there is not a single player in the scene who would just enjoy sitting alone in an empty bomb site and just playing retake all the time, you know. And
never peek apart.
So someone,
never push.
Someone has to like be stuck with these roles, you know. And every team has one of these guys.
Yeah, and that's one of the harder things, right? To get quantified, and that's probably a big part of it for players, right? Like when obviously there's been a lot of things in the last couple of years that have helped. Like we get the flash assist now, which are showing more supportive elements, and Blast are doing a really good job with their replays to highlight flashes, and we're using Skybox and the ESL broadcast as well to show more team-based elements. But those things are really hard to quantify, right? And this is why the point next to like that. I don't know. I feel for me, you've drilled at home, but I kind of want to ask it again, just so that people can really understand the difference when you're playing with a roster that you know has to perform and one that you know isn't going to be around anymore. Like, what are we talking like in levels here of you going into a game? How much freer are you thinking? If you not if you had to put a percentage on it, but just like what are your initial thoughts? Because I really want to push this home for people because it's something which, as a player, I remember. But it's not. I've been so out of touch now. It's not really my place anymore.
Like when you're feeling like so free and let's say you just want to play your own game, like right, there is not really a lot of meaning to the game you're playing, or you have this like honeymoon period, you brought in a fresh player and you want to win. And like for example, Nico came in and he just came to us and says, yeah, I'm gonna do this play, I want to do this play, I'm gonna take space here, you know. Like he was just doing his things that he did in FaZe, and everyone was like, yeah, okay bro, go for it, when you do this I'm gonna do that. And everyone was like trying to connect and you know, like build the rounds on top of each other and like work off what he brings. But then like later on there is no longer this like honeymoon period, and then we're trying to like figure out a system and put like a system in place. And then yeah, if Nico does this, like you cannot do this because he's not gonna react that way. And then you cannot like connect all the things, and then you're always like, there's always one guy saying, but no, that's not gonna work. No, but this guy's gonna hold this. No, the timing is bad, you know. And there's always like people trying to like find excuses and not believing, not having this confidence, which was there like during the honeymoon. And
sure,
like you can call, like for example, I'm an in-game leader and you were one as well, SPUNJ. Like you can call around and maybe it's a bad call, maybe it's a good call. But if like you have 5 people on the server and they all trust the call and commit, even if you go in a stack with like 4 people, if you actually like, you know, believe that you're gonna win the round and you go in without hesitation, you can still win the round. But if people are like, you make a call and then people are like second guessing, or they're saying, oh no, that's bad, and then like everything falls apart and goes to shit. So like when you have this like honeymoon period, as you call it, like there is none of this. Like everyone is believing, everyone wants to win, everyone is listening, everyone is like strafing for each other, jumping, dying, trading. But then when it's like a bit more pressure, you have to perform for the results, you have to win, and that's when like, you know, like people start getting stiff, they start doubting, they just put pressure on themselves, which makes them perform worse.
You know what's weird with that? Like the thing that you're talking about there with like the putting pressure on themselves, people start to play for themselves, right? Which is ridiculous because the whole point is to play for the team.
Yeah.
But what happens is when you're getting closed up and you don't want to lose and shit, you're so focused on yourself not making a mistake that the mistake is not being fluid and reacting and playing off your teammates and shit. Anyway, let's keep this one moving. Do we want